Hi everyone, and welcome to Easy English for Everyone. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Ethan. Welcome back. Or if this is your first time, hello. We're so happy you're here.
This podcast is for people who are learning English. Every episode, Ethan and I have a real, natural conversation about everyday topics. We try to use simple, clear language so it's easy to follow along.
Exactly. And the best way to get better at a language is to listen to it a lot. So we hope you'll just sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation.
Today's topic is something we deal with every single day: getting around the city. Ethan and I both live in San Francisco, which is a really interesting city for transport, and we actually do things very differently.
We really do, very differently. So Lauren, let's start with you. You have a car, right?
I do, yes. I have a car and I use it pretty much every day. It's just how I get around. I drive to work, I drive to run errands, going to the shops, the grocery store, and I use it on weekends too, especially if I want to go somewhere outside the city.
Right, yeah.
Like, I love being able to just go whenever I want. No waiting, no schedule. I just get in the car and go. That freedom is really important to me.
I totally get that. That spontaneous freedom is honestly the one thing I miss. Well, miss isn't the right word since I've never had a car here, but it's the one thing I wish I had. I don't have a car at all. I rely completely on public transport.
Right, yeah, so walk me through it. What do you actually use?
Okay, so my main options are the bus and the Muni. Muni is the tram system here, the streetcars that run through the city. I use those most days for shorter trips around San Francisco. And then there's BART, which stands for Bay Area Rapid Transit. That's like a subway or a metro train. I use BART when I need to go further, like to Oakland or Berkeley.
Yeah, BART is so useful for that.
It really is. And I have something called a Clipper card. It's basically a travel card, like a little plastic card that you put money on, and then you just tap it when you get on the bus or the train. Super easy, no need to carry cash.
Oh yeah, I actually have a Clipper card too for the times when I don't drive. It really does make things so much simpler.
Exactly. And I walk a lot too. If somewhere's close enough, I'll just walk. It's free, it's good exercise, and honestly, walking is one of the best ways to see and feel a city. You notice things you'd never see from a car or a bus.
That's so true.
But, and this is the big but, walking in San Francisco has one very interesting challenge.
The hills!
The hills, yes. San Francisco is famous for its steep hills, and some days I'm just walking to the grocery store and I am gasping for breath, like I feel like I just ran a race and all I did was walk 2 blocks uphill.
Oh, I know that feeling so well. There's this one hill near my apartment that I sometimes walk up, and I always have to stop halfway and pretend I'm just looking at the view.
Ha! Yes. Oh, what a lovely view. Just catching your breath.
Exactly. But honestly, the views from the top of the hills are genuinely beautiful. You can see the bay, the bridges. It really is one of the most beautiful cities.
It really is. Okay, so the hills. What's it like to drive on them? Because as a non-driver, that terrifies me a little.
Honestly, when I first moved here, it was terrifying. You stop at a red light on a steep hill and your car is pointing almost straight up, and you have to start moving again without rolling backwards into the car behind you. My heart was pounding every time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can imagine.
And parking on the hills is a whole other thing. Did you know this is actually the law here? If you park on a hill, you have to turn your front wheels toward the curb when you're facing downhill, so that if your brakes fail, the car rolls into the curb and stops, instead of rolling down the street.
Wait,
that's actually the law? I had no idea.
Yes, you can actually get a fine if you forget. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it, but it took me a while to get used to remembering every single time.
That's wild. Okay, so parking. That's a big topic in this city. Even as someone who doesn't drive, I hear people complaining about parking constantly.
Oh, it is the #1 complaint. Parking in San Francisco is honestly a nightmare. I have spent 20, 30 minutes just driving around looking for a spot. And when you finally find one, it's expensive. You can easily pay $20 or $30 to park for a few hours in some parts of the city.
Mm-hmm. And that right there is honestly one of my favorite things about not having a car. I never have to think about parking, ever. I just get off the bus and I'm there.
You know what? That is genuinely something I envy about your situation. What other good things do you get from using public transport?
Money, honestly. Not having a car saves so much money. No car payment every month, no insurance, no petrol or gas, as we say here in the US, no maintenance costs. I just pay for my Clipper card, which is much, much cheaper.
Yeah, that really does add up. Owning a car in a city like this is expensive.
It really does. But, and there's always a but, public transport has its frustrations too. The biggest one for me is the timing. You are completely at the mercy of the schedule. If you miss a bus, you might wait 15 or 20 minutes for the next one.
Right, yeah, that dependency on a schedule would stress me out.
It can be really stressful. And sometimes things go wrong in a bigger way. Like, okay, I have to tell you about the worst one. I was on my way to a job interview. I was dressed nicely, I was feeling good, and then the bus broke down. Just stopped in the middle of the street.
No! Oh, no!
Everyone had to get off. I'm standing on the pavement in the sun in my nice interview outfit, watching the minutes tick by, frantically trying to order an Uber on my phone. I made it with about 3 minutes to spare, but I was a mess.
3 minutes? That is cutting it so close. My heart would have been racing the whole time.
It was, but that's also kind of when rideshare apps are really useful. I don't use Uber or Lyft every day, it's too expensive for that, but for emergencies or late at night or when the weather is terrible, it's really handy to have that option.
Yeah, I think that's the smart way to use it, as a backup, not as your main transport. Speaking of bad situations, traffic. Ethan, I know you don't deal with it from behind the wheel, but I do, and it is brutal here sometimes.
Yeah, I see it from the bus window sometimes, and I'm just glad I'm not in it.
During rush hour, that's the morning and evening when everyone is traveling to or from work. Some days I've sat in traffic for nearly an hour just going a few miles. A few miles! I could have walked faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds so draining.
It really is. On those days, I honestly think maybe Ethan has the right idea. But then the weekend comes and I can just spontaneously drive to the coast, and I remember why I love having a car.
Exactly. Grass is always greener, right? I'm envying your weekend beach trips, and you're envying my stress-free commute.
Exactly. Okay, let's end with a practical question. If someone is visiting San Francisco for the first time, a tourist, would you recommend they rent a car or use public transport?
Public transport, 100%. I wouldn't wish the parking situation on a visitor. It's stressful enough if you know the city. For a newcomer, it would be really overwhelming.
Yeah, I completely agree, actually. And a lot of the famous places like Fisherman's Wharf, the Ferry Building, Chinatown, Union Square, they're all pretty close to each other. You can walk between many of them or take a short bus or tram ride.
Right, and the famous cable cars, the old-fashioned trams you see on all the postcards, those are actually part of the public transport system. So you get to experience something really iconic just by getting around normally.
Oh, that's such a great point. The cable cars are really fun. They're old, they're a little slow, but they're such a part of San Francisco. Every visitor should ride one.
Totally. And if you want to go further, like out to Golden Gate Park or Ocean Beach, the bus goes there too. You really don't need a car for a visit.
And taking the bus with everyone else, it's a great way to feel like a local. You see real, everyday life in the city, not just the tourist spots.
I love that, yeah. Okay, I think that's a perfect note to wrap up on.
It really is. Well, this was such a fun conversation. Getting around the city is something we all do every day, and I think it's one of those topics that's so different for everyone depending on where you live and how you live.
Absolutely. And there's no single right answer. Car, bus, walking, it really depends on your lifestyle, your city, and your needs. They all have good and bad sides.
Exactly. And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for spending time with us today. We really hope this conversation was useful and easy to follow. If you heard a word or a phrase you didn't understand, try listening again. Repetition is one of the best ways to learn a language.
That's such good advice. And we'll be back next episode with a brand new topic and a new conversation. We really can't wait to see you then.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.